So, exercise 8.1. Quickly mark at number 1, they asked. Now you've quickly got to sit. You've got lots to copy, no? You only had to write, hold on, you only had to write binomial, trinomial, monomial. You didn't have to write two terms and then binomial. Is that what you wanted to do?
But like, when I think it's right next to two terms.
That doesn't matter, no.
It means 2 minutes. Yeah,
Okay. Right, so then at number 2, you guys had to say what that equation would be equal to if x was 0. So we basically had to substitute in the 0, and you should have gotten minus 17. At B, they said, what if x is 6? So again, you get a mark for substituting in that 6, and then your final answer would be 187. At C, they said, if x is minus 4. So now again, we substitute. You get a mark for showing that we substitute. What's the golden rule when we substitute?
Use brackets.
Thank you. And then the value of that equation would then be 7. Right, any questions? Can I skip? Because I see lots of people writing, and that's hopefully not because you didn't do your homework. This wasn't that difficult, so corrections should not have been that much. Copy. Right, hands up, you're still copying. Quick, quick, quick. Right, everyone done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, there's number 3 and 4, 5.
I know, did you have to write down?
No, if you just said 3, that would be fine. So at 3A, they asked you how many terms there were, and that was just 3. So you could have said 3 terms, or just 3 is also fine. Then at B, they asked you write down the coefficient of x to the power of 2. Now, yesterday we said the coefficient is basically what's written in front of it. So that's how I got the 12. Remember, that's a positive 12. No? Okay, and then at C, they said, what is the value of the constant term? Now, that's the one without any unknowns, and that was minus 15. So over there, if you left out the minus, you don't get the mark. Okay? You can't just say 15, because then you're implying that it's a positive 15, and it's not. Okay, at D, calculate the value of the expression when x is minus 1. So you'll see that I showed the substitution of the minus 1, and that then gave me 5. Then at E, they asked what's the degree of the expression. Raphael, put it away, thank you. What's the degree of the expression? And then we said we look at the highest power, and the highest power was to the power of 2, so that's why it's second degree. If you only wrote 2 over there, that's also fine. You'd still get your marks. Okay? Then at 4, they asked whether these are like terms. Now, what I want you to see is that for A, I have got x squared, and the other option is x to the power of 3. No. So already I can see that they are not the same, because like terms means that the variables are exactly the same. So therefore, no, it's not like terms. Okay? Then at B, have a look. A to the power of 2. And what do we have here? A to the power of 2. Then B to the power of 3, B to the power of 3. So even though it's shuffled around a bit, it's still like terms. So therefore, yes. Yeah.
What if you like work out to become like yes or no? You didn't like show it out.
You didn't have to work anything out. You could just have said yes or no. Okay. I just wrote it down here so I can explain to you guys and show you. Right, then it's 5a. Remember, when we add or subtract, we can only do that when we have like terms. No? Okay, so 7x squared minus 14x squared, are they like terms? Yes, they both have x squared. So 7 minus 14 gave me minus 7, and then the unknown stays x to the power of 2. Okay, can I skip? Then at B, over here you'll see they were shuffled around. I've got A, B, C, and then the next one is B, C, A. But they still like terms because they still have, all of them have A, all of them have B, and all of them have C. So they shuffled it around a bit to confuse you guys and test whether you really know what like terms are. Okay, so these are like terms. So I can go and add. So 15 ABC plus 12 ABC gave me 27 ABC. Then I had to minus 13 ABC, and that's how I got the 14 ABC. Okay. And again, even though they were shuffled at the top or at the question, please remember that when you write your answer, we want it in alphabetical order, the variables. No? So you'll see that I stuck to A, B, C.
If you write, you don't write it in alphabetical.
If you wrote 14 CBA, it wouldn't be wrong. But remember, what I'm doing is I'm training you for grade 12. No? So I don't want you to practice something other than what we want you to write it in grade 12. That's why we...
If you write it like this in grade 12, I won't get it wrong.
You won't get it wrong. I just said no, you won't lose a mark because it's the same thing. But I'm making you guys, I'm reminding you about it the whole time, and I'm asking you to try and practice it so long. Because if you carry on with pure math, that's how they want you to write it in grade 12. And it just makes it easier to see like terms later on. Remember, it gets more difficult from here up until grade 12. So we want to make our lives easier and not more difficult. Okay, so at C, 8xy squared plus 7x squared y. Have a look at those variables. At the first one, I've got x, and the second one has got x squared. Then first one has got y squared, and the second term has just got y. So are they like terms? No. And because they're not like terms, can I add them? No. So you'll see that the question I basically just rewrote here because I can't go any further than that. That is simplified already. Okay? Then at D, these are like terms because they both have x squared y to the power 3. So I can go and subtract. So 100 of those minus 50 of them will give me 50. And then the variable stays the same. X squared y to the power 3. Any questions? Okay, then at 6a, over here we said we first got to get rid of the brackets. So because it was a plus, nothing really changed. Then we look for like terms. So 2x squared plus x squared would give me 3x squared. Okay, then minus 4x plus 4x.
It's 0.
0x. Do we write that?
No.
No. Okay, then our constants. So 3 minus 4 gave me that minus 1.
And why, like Mary is asking us, why you follow like 0x?
It won't be wrong. That's not wrong. You do get 0x. No? But we don't have to write it because 0 times x is just 0. And we don't usually write plus 0 in an equation. Okay. Can I skip? Okay, there's B. B, same thing. I had to get rid of the brackets first, but because there was a plus in front of the bracket, it didn't really make a difference. Now I just got to put like terms together. So minus x to the power of 2 plus x to the power of 2 gives me 0, x to the power of 2, but we don't have to write that. Then 11x minus 13x would give me minus 2x. Then the constants, minus 12 minus 15 gave me minus 27. So any questions at B? Okay, now you'll see at C and D I started skipping the question right in the beginning. At C, there was a plus in front as well. So this was your first step, getting rid of the bracket. No? But because there was a plus in front of the bracket, nothing really changed. Then let's put like terms together. So 13x squared plus 2x squared would give me 15x squared. Okay, then minus 11x didn't have any like terms, so it just stays minus 11x. Do you guys see that? Okay, then let's look at the constants. So I had minus 10 and then plus 5. And that gave me this minus 5. Any questions? Okay, now at D, same thing. We had 3 different brackets, but again, there was a plus in front, so none of it changed. Now, let's look at like terms. 7x squared plus, what's in front of that x squared? A 1, no? So this so far would give me 8x squared, plus another 2x squared would give me 10x squared. Right, then minus 8x plus 8x gives me 0x, but we don't have to write that. And then minus 5 plus 5 gives me 0. Okay, so again, if you maybe wrote plus 0, it's not wrong, but it's not necessary. Okay. Then at number 7, they said, what must be added to 5x squared, to give 7x squared, what? Okay, now, if I were to ask you, have a look at this. I'm going to delete it now, just now. What must be added to 5 to give me 7? Okay, you guys can see that that will be a 2, no? But in your mind, what did you actually do? You said 7 minus 5. Do you guys agree? Okay, so that's what I did here. So I took the 7x squared, what? And subtracted the 5x squared, what? No, do you guys get why I wrote it like that? Now, the important part here is that you had to put that in brackets because that little minus there is going to influence everything else. And because that was 3 terms and we see it as one thing, I had to put it in brackets. No, because now next up, I had to multiply that negative in. So now you'll see it becomes minus 5x to the power of 2 plus 3x and minus 8. Do you guys see my signs change as soon as I multiply in that negative? Okay, so once we get there. So any questions up until there? Okay, now we've got to look for like terms. So 7x squared minus 5x squared gave me the 2x squared. And then minus 3x plus 3x, no x. Then 10 minus 8 gave me that 2. Any questions? Right, can I skip? Okay, there's number 8, A and B. Remember yesterday we said, whatever's written after the word from is what we've got to start with, okay? So if you maybe switched these around, then you didn't listen yesterday, no? Okay, I'll give you time to copy and mark first because I see a lot of you writing, and I hope it's not because you didn't do homework. Want, en nou gaan ek sommer skel in Afrikaans. Jy moet net onthou, nee, jy voel net yourself. I don't have to do homework. I'm not the one writing exams. You know, when I do see you guys don't do homework. as soon as you write a test. Because then you can't fool anyone, not yourself or me. No? Math is not something that you can quickly study within half an hour or the day before you write the test. It doesn't work like that. Math is constantly doing your part every single day, 10, 15, 20 minutes, every day. There is no quick fix for math. Right, so any questions at 8A or B? No one? Right, so I can skip, no? Kom, Kazi, hoe ver is jy? Anyone else still copying? The rest of you that's waiting, you can write multiply and divide polynomials. I'm waiting for Nilan. You done? Done? Anyone else still copying? Okay, right. Now, up until now, we have been adding or subtracting, right? And then we had to have like terms. But what we're doing now is we are going to multiply or divide. Now, when we do that, remember that you can multiply or divide unlike terms, right? So now we don't have to focus on like terms anymore. Another thing that you've got to remember is when we multiply two unknowns with each other, the variables will most likely change, right? All right, so we had these examples in that investigation that you guys did, and you also did it last year, so it should not be completely new. If I give you the following, it actually says 3 times the bracket. Okay, meaning that 3 must be multiplied with every single thing inside the bracket. Doesn't matter whether there's 1 term or 10 terms. No? Okay, so the 3 must be multiplied with the x squared, and it must also be multiplied with a minus 4x. Now, remember about your signs. Okay, so my answer here, 3 times x squared will become 3x squared. Okay, now 3 must also be multiplied with minus 4x. What will that give me? Minus 12x. Good. That's a well done. All right. The next one. Over here. What must be yes, sorry. That is the final answer. Why? Because they're not like terms. As soon as I see a minus, I must think of, oops, okay, only like terms, eh? And over here I've got x squared, and over there I've got x. So they're not like terms, so that's where we stop. Okay. Right, now let's look at example 2. What must be multiplied with that bracket? The what? She's saying 1. It's not just 1. What's written in front of the bracket? Yeah, but what am I going to multiply it with? With minus? Minus 8. So, sorry, dan het ek dit nie gehoor nie, sorry. So, have a look. This minus x must be multiplied in with every single thing in that bracket, né? Now, what I want you guys to see is not just the x, but the minus and the x, né? Remember the sign in front of a variable or a number, né, is actually part of it, né? Okay, so, wat vra jy? Yes, do you guys want to try this on your own? Okay, so try. Ja, jy het 10 en al klaar. Okay, so minus x times the 4x squared will become minus 4x to the power of 3. Good.
Can we finish it now?
Wait, the next one, you can do one on your own just now. Minus x times positive 2x will become minus 2. Good. Okay, now the last one. Minus x times minus 1 will become not minus. A negative times a negative gives me a positive. And it's actually 1x, but do we have to write that one? You can just say x. But if you write 1x, it's not wrong. Right?
It's confusing. It's easier for you.
That's fine. You can. It's not wrong. Okay. Pause. Listen. Shh. Are there any like terms? No. So I couldn't go any further than that. This is where I stop. Okay. Any questions? Right. Can I skip? No one's still copying. Okay. Hold on. Right. So, over here, it's the same principle. We just now have more than one bracket. No. But remember, we only multiply n what's written right in front of that bracket. So meaning this 2 must be multiplied in with that bracket. What must be multiplied in over here? The minus 3 must be multiplied into that bracket. And then over here, minus 8 must be multiplied in. Do you guys want to try this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. Go ahead and try. On your own. Dis nie mondeling nie. Kom. Moenie hard praat nie, want dit maak ander mense te mekaar.
Sorry. I think I got the answer.
Right, can I write?
No, ma'am, no, ma'am, no. No, ma'am.
Kom, ek is bang die tyd gaan my vang.
Just, ma'am, just a few minutes.
Uh-uh.
Yes, ma'am, you can write.
Right, so,
The answer is fine.
nie sê nie. So 2 times 4a will give me 8a. Sorry, that's not a nice one. Okay, 8a. 2 times 5b will give me 10b. Okay, now I have to multiply and You're on your way out again, eh? Now I've got to multiply in not just the 3, but minus 3. So minus 3 times a will become minus 3a. Now, minus 3 times minus 3b will become positive 9b. Good. Who got it right so far? Good. Okay, now minus 8 must be multiplied in with a 2b, and that gives me minus 16b. Okay, now we've got to look for like terms. Now, have a look at the a's. 8a minus 3a will give me 5a so far. There isn't any other a's left, so 5a. Okay, then 10b plus 9b will give me 19b minus 16b gives me positive 3b. Right, who got that? Well done. Okay, now it gets a bit more complicated, Theo. Gets a bit more complicated when we get to fractions. Now, the golden rule with fractions is, because when you guys see fractions, you sometimes just want to start cancelling out.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? But we can only cancel out when we have how many terms at the top? One term at the top and one term at the bottom. That's a golden rule when it gets to fractions. So if you didn't know that, make a note. Only cancel out when we have one term at the top, one term at the bottom. How many terms do we have here at the top? 3. Okay, so can I cancel out? No. Okay, I'm going to talk about this just now. So you can write it down, but don't stress about it. It's not going to influence anything. I'll talk about it just now. Okay, so because we've got 3 terms at the top, the first thing that I want you guys to do is go break it up. Right? We wrote that as 1, but we can actually break it up and say, let's put 3x squared over the 4x. And then put 6 over the 4x, and then put the 12 over the 4x. No, we can do that. It's the same thing. Okay, so that's going to be your first step. Break it up. So we're going to have 3x squared over 4x minus 6x over 4x 12 over 4x. Good. Okay, now, once we've broken it up, have a look at this one. That fraction, how many terms at the top? 1. How many terms at the bottom? 1. So am I allowed to cancel out there? Yes. Okay, so let's cancel out. The x at the bottom will cancel out with one of those x's at the top. Do you guys agree? So what do I have there? 3x over 4. Okay, then minus. Okay, how many terms here at the top? 1. And how many at the bottom? 1. So I can cancel out. X will cancel out with x. And the 6 over 4, what can go into both of them? 2. People, if you can't remember how to simplify a fraction, what do? We cheat. We use our calculator, no? Quickly take out your calculator and put in 6 over 4. And then just say equal. And it gives you the simplified version of 3 over 2. Okay, so if you struggle, use your calculator. But just to show you guys, how did I get there? 2 can go into both the top and the bottom. So 4 divided by 2 will give me 2. And 6 divided by 2 will give me 3. So I'm going to have 3 over 2. No. Okay, now the last term. Over here, how many terms at the top? 1. How many terms at the bottom? 1. So can I cancel out? Yeah. Okay, so that x can't cancel out with anything. If you want treat, use your calculator. Simplify that one for me. What would it be?
3 over x.
It's just 3, no? Okay, but remember, it's actually because 4 will go in once and 4 will go in 3 times. So please don't say 3x because then you're not having the x at the bottom. So what would my final answer here be? 3 over x. No. 3x is the same as 3x over 1. So how did that x now all of a sudden go to the top? So that's wrong. No? Okay. Guy, listen. Any questions over here? You guys sure? Now, your homework is going to be the following. Oh, wait. I want you guys to try this one.
Alone. Alone.
Yes, alone. Try that one alone.
Dames en heren, dis tyd vir die afkondigings voor die eerste pauze.
You done?
Die volgende leerders moet asseblief na die algemene kantoor toe kom. Lakshmi Patel, Joe Dievenage, Bianca van der Westhuizen en Agha 2. Daar's broodjies beskikbaar by die kantoor. Calvino Cook, please meet Miss Neetling and Tim at the beginning of break. Die volgende 3 leerders moet asseblief vir mevrou Hannekom nou die begin van pauze gaan sien. Giovanna Malone, Legan Brooks en Joy Hans. Daar is vanmiddag breiklas in kamer 43, maar nie môre nie en volgende week slegs donderdag as gevolg van die vakansiedag. There is a knitting class today but not tomorrow and next week only on Thursday due to the holiday. Chemievoorsiening is weer in die spitsverkeergang opgestel. Kom ondersteun die graad 11 asseblief daar. Chemievoorsiening is set up in the spitsverkeer passage, so please go and support the grade 11s. There will be chess practice tomorrow at 2:30 to 3:30 in the media center. Drama club vanaand 17:30 tot 18:30. Voor die ou saal, almal is welkom, bring 'n potlood saam.
Did everyone finish? Have a look whether you're correct.
Van 17:30 tot 18:30.